Hey guys, we're back. Rose in Real Talk. I am Victoria. This is Heather. And today, what do we have today? I stopped at Specs on my way here.
Okay.
And we have the Quinto Rose Pinot Noir 2023.
Oh, I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah.
So do you prefer sparkling rosé or still rosé?
Depends on my mood. Sometimes the sparkling makes me gassy.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's never a good thing.
Yeah.
So I
But
guess
anyways.
it just depends on what your plans are that night. Okay.
We're back. And as always, we want to say thank you to Scott Stewart, Lake Life Media, who is our man behind the scenes. He tolerates us for the most part, and he does all of our editing and videography. And it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Say happy birthday in the comments, so he knows he's loved. I am not. I'm married. I'm not single, but Heather is, and so we thought it would be interesting to talk about dating in this day and age, because that scares the living crap out of me.
As it should.
Yeah, I mean, when I was dating, it was like back in the day where there wasn't like all of these apps and all that stuff. Like it was, I think the most was like Match.com, and I think there was Plenty of Fish, and then like eHarmony or whatever. I mean, that was the most of the online dating. So basically,
I wasn't even dating then. When I was dating, I wasn't really dating. I was only 23 when I got married. And the only people who were dating online were
weirdos.
Who you assumed probably couldn't carry a conversation. And so it was easier to be in a chat room behind a keyboard. And so this whole online world was not, I got married in 2002.
Okay.
So that just was not a thing.
So I did Match.com just briefly before I met my husband, and I went on one date with this guy, and I immediately deleted my account after this encounter because this guy shows up. He was nice, but we went to an Italian restaurant. I think it was Olive Garden or something along those lines, or Carrabba's or something along those lines. And he ordered a salad. And, you know, a lot of those Italian restaurants, they don't have ranch. Like it's whatever, you know, their house Italian dressing is. Well, he busts out this like little, you know, like side, you know, those plastic side cups of busts this out. It's a ranch. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't like Italian. And I was like, oh, so you brought your own ranch? And he's like, yeah. It's like, well, where did you? It's in a like little side cup. Like he had like taken it
Like
to
he
go
planned-
from somewhere.
he planned this.
Yeah. So get this. I was like, where'd you get that? And he goes, I stopped at their sister restaurant. And I don't remember which one it was. He's like, I stopped on the way and I asked them to give me a to-go ranch. And I told them that I didn't want to pay for it because I'm going to their sister restaurant over here and they don't serve ranch. Never again. Yeah.
That's a lot.
And he felt like he didn't have to pay for it.
So just, okay. I mean,
Or just not get a salad.
maybe don't go to a restaurant that doesn't have what you like.
Right.
If ranch is that important to you, if you are so committed to the cause that you are going to leave in enough time to stop at a restaurant, insist that you don't have to pay for it, ask them to do it. Like it's this whole dance he went through.
Yeah.
Maybe don't go to the restaurant you're planning on going to. Why didn't y'all go eat at the place that has ranch?
I have no idea.
You know
I don't
what I'm
even.
saying?
Well, I
Like-
don't know. Maybe I picked the restaurant. I don't know. I don't remember. But still, I mean, even if I did pick the restaurant and he wanted to be genuinely and
Maybe you white knuckle through
accommodating.
dinner without ranch.
Right. Just don't order a salad or you know, whatever. I
I mean,
don't know.
people are dying. We can live without ranch. Even back then, people were dying.
Yeah. So that was the end of my.
Yeah, that's a lot. That would be, I don't think, yeah, I wouldn't be, because that's what life is like with this person.
We're gonna have to stop on the way every
Like,
single
that's
time.
just
Yeah.
the beginning.
Yeah.
That would leave a very bad impression. And I'm not one, I mean, everybody has an opinion after a first impression.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to live and die by first impressions. I think that sometimes people are nervous or they have a bad day or they can be
Right.
off. I mean, I know, trust me, I have not always left good first impressions. But that is that's an MO. That is a strategy for life.
And he did.
And that is something that I could not personally
and
get
usually
with.
you try and hide your crazy for at least like the first.
You got to check
like,
the crazy. Everybody's
for
crazy,
a couple dates.
But the good ones check
But
it.
he was just like, here it is. Let's roll it right out. And even if he was checking his crazy for this first date and that still slipped through the cracks, how much crazy, you know, was going on underneath the surface?
If that's what's slipping through, then there's a lot more to be uncovered.
Yeah.
I personally, so I've only been single for a few years. I refuse to do dating apps because it's just, it seems first of all, it seems like the same group of people are on all the apps.
Uh-huh.
Um,
So how many are there now?
I don't even know. There's a ton.
Yeah. So there's like, I know there's Facebook dating.
There's
There's,
Hinge. There's Tinder is still a thing. There's
what's the swipe one?
well, you swipe. They're all
Oh, they
swiping.
all swipe. Okay.
They're all so there's let's see, Facebook dating, Hinge, Tinder. I think Match might still be a thing.
Is it?
Bumble. Those are the ones that I can think of.
The internet says there is currently, this is worldwide, 1,500 dating apps.
1,500.
Oh, that's crazy.
That's a lot. So what are like the top US ones? Can you see?
Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, OkCupid, and eHarmony.
Okay,
Oh,
Cupid.
eHarmony is still a thing. There's one called Farmer.com or Only Farmer or something like that.
Only Farmer?
Or something Farmer. Do you know which one I'm talking?
Farmer's Daughters?
No,
Oh dear.
There is one, I think.
I'm sure there is.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
So,
sure
yeah,
it's
like,
chock
that's
full
a
of
lot to keep
excellent
up with.
material. I know.
That's a lot to keep up with. And I feel like, I don't know, the whole thing just scares me. Like if something were to happen to Steven, what am I going to do? Because I don't want to end up with Ranch Guy.
Yeah. I personally have adopted the philosophy that I just want to meet somebody when I'm supposed to meet them organically. And I say organically, I mean, like, people will always reach out like on your socials and all of this and that, but it's not something that I want to go to a forum and say, okay, hi guys, I'm here to date. I just
Right.
want it to happen through the course of life. And I don't know how realistic that is. I've met a lot of people who are married or in, committed relationships that met that way. So it's a valid thing. I just personally can't bring myself to do it. And I have friends. One of my very best friends is on dating apps, and the stories that she tells me and the things people have on their profile and the ways they reach out to people. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I feel like there's a
The
lot of
stories
like
are-
when you're behind a keyboard, like, the keyboard warriors, when you're behind a keyboard, it's a lot easier to like snap that inappropriate pic and, you're not going to pull your D out at dinner date, and be like, here, wave it around.
Right.
But you'll like send it in an app.
Well, and I think too that people, just like they do on social media, just like they do on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they put their best foot forward. So like I've heard of men lying about how tall they are. I don't understand that approach because at some point I would think the goal would be to meet each other. So she's going to know that you're 5'9" and not 6'1". Or women using older photos and maybe now we've gone through some things and we've changed and you show up and you are
Yeah.
not the same as in your picture.
But I also feel like there's a reason for that because there, like you said, meeting organically, you may meet somebody that's shorter than you would like or that you're looking for, but there's a spark, there's a connect or something there, and so
Right.
you kind of overlook. Okay, maybe he's a little bit on the short side, but we really did have this connection.
I think that's true. I think that when you are shopping through a catalog, so to speak, you reduce people to statistics and to numbers and very black and white things. Everybody has preferences. There are people that absolutely, like, I'm a tall woman, I'm 5'10". There are a lot of taller women that say, I don't want to date anybody shorter than me. And I totally get that. Like when you're a tall woman, you still want to feel like a girl. You want your guy to be taller than you. However, let's say you meet that guy that's 5'9" or 5'10". He's not incredibly short, but he's not over 6 feet like you prefer. But like you said, you have a spark, you get on really well, because there's a lot of other things that can come into that that can overrule, in my opinion, a physical characteristic that
And you may have
usually
swiped.
prefer.
You may have swiped on that person otherwise.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do think that and when you meet somebody, you're meeting them, you see them.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking at. Now, a bunch of guys will say, and Scott, I need your opinion on this.
Oh Lord.
It's like this, I guess it's a joke, or maybe they're serious, or like for the first date, invite her swimming. Because they want to see her like without her makeup without all her things.
I don't know if I would agree to that. I don't know if I would agree to that, just because I've got, I've had children, drink a lot of wine, so I have a little bit of some body
I've
issues,
heard
so I don't know
people
if I
say
would.
that, and then there's like videos that joke about that, like because of course guys are like, well, she wears too much makeup, she has her hair done, she's blah 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 blah, all these things. So
Yeah. I mean, I feel like hair and makeup can only hide so much.
I mean,
But
Scott, have you
what do
ever
think?
dated somebody and she looked great, and then you had the opportunity to see her without makeup, and you were like, "Whoa"?
I've been on plenty of catfish, we'll call them, where on their photos they look great, and then when you see them, they're not so great.
Oh.
And so, did you go through with the date, or were you just
Yeah.
kinda
So what do
like-
you do in that situation?
I finished the date. I didn't just leave.
Because I've heard of like some people like they'll just go to the bathroom and leave, and I feel like that's kind of rude.
Or the person will be waiting outside and they'll drive up and not be happy with what they see and they'll just leave. I've heard of that.
I mean, I kind of feel like maybe meet for coffee or something to where, I mean, as a quick date, inexpensive date, you can see, who the person
Okay,
is, and then you just
so-
decide not to meet again. I don't know.
So on that, so that's another thing that people talk about. So I've seen more men talk about this than women. So for instance, I saw one guy in particular, it was a video, of course it was a video on TikTok. And he said that when he meets a woman, he prefers to ask her out on a coffee date because it's very easy. Honestly, it's less expensive. And he wants to know if there's a connection before
Yeah.
he commits to a dinner.
Yeah.
And so I personally think that that's a great idea. Either meet for coffee or, hey, let's grab a drink. Because in my opinion, it's very easy. You don't have the pressure and the formality of dinner. You can really just sit there and drink and chat and see if you connect. But then there's also now a lot of women who say, well, that's cheap. It's low effort. He should take you out to dinner. And I
I
love
disagree.
I love the non-committal easiness that a coffee date or meeting for a drink has.
Well, I mean, for the woman too. I mean, if the woman is uncomfortable or isn't feeling the connection, why suffer through
A dinner.
an hour and a half long dinner,
Right.
with somebody that you're just not connecting with? It just seems kind of a waste of both of your time.
I
And
agree.
I've also actually heard guys say that there's a lot of women on apps that like try to get it's just a free meal,
Yeah.
or whatever. And so a lot of them will be like, well, we'll meet for like an appetizer or a drink or something. And I don't know. I don't need anyone to buy my meal or my
don't
drinks.
either.
I can buy my own.
I would
So-
rather go through the drive-thru at Jack in the Box and get $3
fill me up?
tacos.
Yes.
And be by myself than be on a bad date where he's buying me $100 dinner.
I would feel
mean,
bad.
quite honestly.
I would feel bad.
Yes, but there are women who will go out with somebody that they're not interested in for a free meal, and I think it's ridiculous. You want people to think you're a high value woman and act like a high value woman.
I agree.
It's like, and then now men are saying they don't want to buy dinner. They want to go 50-50. Oh, women are independent. They're this, they're that. No, I'm sorry. I think that a man should pursue a woman. I think he should take her out to dinner. I think he should plan the date. I've seen that. So again, the stories that I hear from a friend of mine, he'll be like, well, where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Let me know what you want to do. No, you want to ask a woman out, ask her out. You plan the date. If he wants to get a vibe on what kind of food you like, I don't have a problem with that. But then
just ask.
But on the other hand too, though, just pick a place and just go with it. Because quite honestly, if she wants to go out with you,
Yeah.
typically any type of restaurant you go to will have something
Something,
that will
yeah.
work. Like for instance, you said you don't like Asian food.
I'm not an Asian or a sushi person.
But when you
Sushi.
go to those restaurants, they typically like you can get
Oh,
some
yeah.
chicken and vegetables, or you can get like
I
you
have never said no.
you can make it work.
Yeah, like no, I don't want to go there. I mean, if a man took the time to make a reservation and invite me or whatever, I mean, I wouldn't say no. I don't want to do that. I don't want to
Right.
go there.
Right. So again, another video. And so this guy, so they were texting and he was asking her out. And so he goes, okay, huddle up. Here's the play, which I love that. He said, I'm going to pick you up at 10. We're going to go do this. We're going to go do that. And then I'm going to take you home. You're going to take a nap. I'll be back at 7. We're going to
you're
go
gonna
here
take a
for
nap.
dinner and we're going to do this. Like he had the whole day planned out.
I love that he planned a nap in there.
I know. That's what a lot of the women were saying. They're like, okay, he's a keeper because he acknowledged nap time. I thought that was so funny.
It is something really sexy about a man taking charge and like, this is what we're doing. Be ready at this time. This is where we're going. It really is. And even moving forward in the relationship, when a man takes charge and continues that, kind of, protector, dominant type role.
Yeah, and I mean, and I think sometimes it's okay too for the woman to say, "Hey, I planned something nice for us, or we're doing this,
Yeah.
we're doing that." But in the beginning, when dating is happening, I do think that he should pursue her, and he should plan things. And it doesn't have to be expensive things. I was walking, so I've been trying to get 15,000 steps in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking, doing my steps. And so in my neighborhood, there's like a creek that runs through it, and there's this bridge. There was a couple, and they had a blanket, and they were just laid out on the blanket. I couldn't tell if they maybe had a couple of things with them. They were just sitting there chatting.
That's so cute.
And I didn't want to be obviously nosy, but
Yeah.
I kind of slowed my pace a little bit. I was listening, and they were just joking, and they were sitting there. And I mean, that sounds super cheesy. Like, of course, it's nice to go to dinner and do those things too, but there's a lot of low cost things that you can do that someone can just take the time to say, hey, I want to spend time with you. Like,
I
you
cannot
can go.
believe you were creeping on that couple.
I
you
know.
weirdo.
Listen, they're laid out in the middle of the neighborhood, and my neighborhood is full of walkers. So, but I thought that was so sweet.
That
Like,
is cute.
it was really cute. So, but I mean, it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can just be something that is specific to what she's interested in, or maybe what you're interested in, and you want to bring her along and show her kind of who you are. So I don't know. I just think that, he should pursue her and plan dates. And
I agree. I feel like we need to get back to like some dating etiquette. And I also feel like communication etiquette as well, because I know a lot of ladies complain that, or not even just ladies, but just people, like, now is the day and age of like ghosting people.
I don't get that.
Well, and it happens to, not only does it happen in dating, but it happens like in just everyday life where it's just don't respond. And
I feel obligated to respond to a fault.
yeah,
There are sometimes people that reach out to me that don't deserve a response. But I think when you have developed even the smallest bit of rapport
Yeah.
with someone, let's say there's been a history of communication, simply not responding, I don't understand that.
I don't either. And
At the very least, have the balls to say, you know what? This is, it's been great talking to you, but I just don't see this going anywhere. I wish
Right.
you all the best, and just move on. And
Look.
now if they don't respect that and they keep reaching out to you,
then
that's
yeah.
different.
But if you're gonna take the time to go on a date with somebody, pursue this person, plan a date, whatever it is, spend time with this person,
get to know them
and
to some extent.
and then all of a sudden you just ghost. I feel like that's really rude, and I feel like that absolutely says something about you as a person, because if you got the balls to pull your phone out and send a dick pic, but you don't have the balls to say, hey, I'm going to move on, or this, I'm going to pursue this, or I'm, not interested, whatever. Like, come on.
Well, even if it's been very short lived and it's just been some chatting and some this and that, if you have interacted with somebody,
Yeah.
you've been receptive to prior communication. It just seems like you would be like, hey, I think you're great, even if you don't. I think you're great, but I just, like I said, I don't see this going anywhere.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best. Let's just be friends.
You just go back to the age old, let's just be friends.
Let's just be friends.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me.
Whatever it is, but I feel
I
like,
haven't had to use that one yet. Ooh, I can't wait to use that one. It's not you, it's me.
have I ever used that? I don't know. I can't remember. It's been so,
It's not me, it's you. Sorry.
whatever it is, I feel like, I feel like if you're going to, have that communication, then, come on, y'all. Like, let's be nice and just, hey,
I mean,
this isn't
okay.
working out for me, whatever it is.
Like, for instance, I had somebody reach out to me and he was just like, oh, hey, would you like to meet sometime for coffee? It's hard to meet people. I don't remember what all he said. I know nothing of this guy. And I just was like, I just basically let him know that I wasn't interested. But I said, I appreciate the message, but I'm not interested. You're right. It is hard to meet people. And I wish you luck. Or I said something like that. He was actually really nice. He was like, thank you. I appreciate the response. And
Instead of just not responding at all.
if you ever change your mind, I'm a text away or something like that. And I was like, well, thank you. I mean, I won't, but thank you. No, I'm just kidding. But he was
No, but I like that response. So he's not. It's not rude. It's
Right.
honest and to the point, and he knew where he stood at that point.
Right. And it was the same way when I was seeing somebody. It was like, thank you. I appreciate you reaching out. I'm seeing somebody.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what? He goes, I respect that. Again, he was like, thank you for the response. And, if anything ever changes, let me know. And it was that simple. And I mean, when someone initiates, contact with you and you've never contacted, I think that you have a little more cause to not respond. But I don't know. Like I said, I feel obligated to respond.
I feel
to a
like
fault.
anybody. Yeah, you can always respond in a way like that. That's like, look, that whatever's going on in my life, I'm just not interested, but thank you.
Right. I definitely don't think that you owe somebody that you
An
don't
explanation,
know
yeah.
an explanation. And that's something that I'm working on as a people pleaser is over explaining. But, I think that when somebody respectfully reaches out to you, I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, thank you, I appreciate it, but I'm just not interested. And nice people will respect that
Yeah.
and they won't get upset. I've had people say ugly things when they didn't get what they wanted, but it is what it is,
Yeah, you just have to ignore that. I mean,
Yeah, and okay. And then obviously some messages out the gate, you're just like, nope, and you just don't even say anything. There's some messages like, what can you say? So,
Here's a real question I have, and you can chime in on this. How long are you communicating with someone before you actually meet them for like a first time meeting or a first date? Is there like a rule of thumb? Like,
I personally don't have one. I mean, I feel like, again, I'm not on dating apps, but if I was, I feel like if you match with somebody, you start communicating and there's enough of a click that you're interested, then you're like, hey, what are you doing tonight? You want to grab a drink? If I'm available, I would go.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if there's, I mean,
Because
again,
there's no difference between
I'm not dating,
that
but
and meeting somebody in person. Like, let's say you're at a bar and you meet somebody and you sit down and you start chatting with them. You hadn't talked to them before that. So I feel like it's almost the same thing. I think it's just a vibe and you kind of go with whatever the vibe is.
so here's the deal though. If you're on a dating app and you're talking to this person and you're thinking you're going to meet up or whatever, do you social stalk them first? Is that
I
a
think
thing?
everybody naturally does that. You start Googling, Facebooking, Instagramming.
Well, I mean, but and again, it's like completely different if you were to meet somebody at a bar because you're not going to like sit there and pull up your Insta,
Right.
while you're,
but
sitting
if
there
you have
talking
the
to them.
opportunity to before you meet them, I think everybody does that.
Do they?
I'm pretty sure.
So I'm in real estate and I meet people all the time. And I don't usually stalk people unless
They're stalking you.
Well,
If somebody doesn't have a relationship with you, but let's say they've come across one of your mailers or they, somebody
Yeah,
said,
no, I can see
you
that.
should use Victoria. Girl, the first thing they're going to do is see if you have a website. They're going to see if you have a Facebook. They're going to see if you have an Instagram, whatever you have.
that's interesting that spilled over into dating because, like you said, if you meet people organically, you're not going to, be sitting there. And how much does that, kind of deter or not?
But you know what though? But if you meet somebody and you sit there and you have a drink with them and you leave and go home, what's the first thing you're going to do when you leave?
I don't know. I never did that. But
Well,
then,
but that
then again,
wasn't a
I haven't
thing when
dated yet,
you-
and I haven't dated since for like a million years. So
Everybody, when they meet somebody they're interested in, at some point is going to Google them or is going to look for them on Facebook.
if that's the world we're living in, I mean, really got to be careful what you're posting on your socials, right? Because you don't
should
want.
always be careful. And my socials are public.
Yeah, so are mine.
So, I mean, you should always be careful.
Do you do
anyway.
that though, Scott? So Scott, you swipe right. Is it right or left? I don't know.
Oh, you never answered where you're at. Where
Oh,
are you
yeah.
at?
Ladies don't know where to find you.
good, I'm mysterious. Just like behind the camera.
behind the scenes.
You're just a
man.
voice.
He's just a voice. So is it right or left that you swipe? That if you
Well,
like
the
somebody.
swipe to the right has always been the
Okay, so if you
It's
swipe,
like when you
like
want to
the
match with
Tinder
somebody.
or Match or Tinder. They all
so if you
kinda-
swipe right, do you like immediately go look them up, or like when is it that you start to like stalk their socials? Before you meet, after you meet?
So they first need to match with you, otherwise you're just swiping anything you want.
So, like Bumble, for instance, a guy can swipe on a girl, but he can't contact her unless she swipes on him and they match, and then they can start communicating.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they're all like that. I just know that that's true about Bumble.
They're all similar, and they have their little niches.
Oh,
Some
okay.
you can, some you can't.
Okay.
Okay.
So your girlfriend that's on, how many is she on? Is she on like,
Facebook dating, Hinge. She was on Bumble. I don't know if she's still there. Those are the only ones I know of.
does she have one in, like that she likes in particular?
No, the one that she's been doing lately is Facebook dating.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that she likes any of them, but they're all just. She's kind of in this place where she's just not sure.
I'm just wondering if people like tend to gravitate towards one more.
I think they probably do, but I have also heard that the same, and maybe I don't know if you've noticed this with the women, but I've heard like with the men, a lot of the same men are across all of them. Like you see the same group of people. Is that true with women too? Like, do you come across some of the same women on the different ones?
I want to say yes. You know, it's like maximizing. You're going to multiple bars in one night looking for someone, or you're on multiple
That's
sites
true.
looking for someone.
So does that bother you? Like if you saw somebody and she's on multiple, I mean, you are too, but
To me, no.
That's so weird.
you know, like I get friend requests and I always look to see if we have a mutual. And then if it's somebody, a lot of times it might be somebody in the industry somehow, and which is wide ranging, but then it's always like, or not always, but then there's times like, okay, I accept it because we have quite a few mutual friends. And then I'm
Right.
getting a message like, oh, hey, how are you? I'd like to get to know you. Do you want to have
See,
coffee?
I don't
and
get
I'm
those
like,
messages, and maybe it's because on my profile it says I'm married, but
That's exactly why.
I do get those, those friend requests, and I usually,
And mine doesn't
if
say
it's-
single, but it doesn't say anything.
yeah. So if it's not somebody weird or, the profile doesn't seem strange, I usually accept because I'm in real estate, I'm a business owner, so socials are big for, business owners.
Right. And so that's why, there's a lot of people like, well, if I don't know them, I don't accept, but we don't have that luxury because we want connections.
Yeah.
There was one guy, it was a couple of years ago. He ended up being so weird. And he sent me I friended him. We had like 20 something mutuals and it was all in the industry. It was inspectors, real estate agents,
Yeah.
insurance people. He was sending me pictures of other women. He was saying all these things. And I was like, oh my God. So
Why was he sending you pictures of other women?
girl, I don't know. I
Huh.
guess.
What was he saying in these pictures?
And
Like, here's
wanting,
this
and wanting
woman?
pictures from me, and I'm like, oh, so that you can go send them to. I mean,
That's weird.
so I blocked him.
Yeah.
Well, now he's come back as another profile, but I recognize him because he kind of looks like a broke down like Matthew McConaughey.
I'm trying to picture that.
All right, all right, all right.
So anyway, and so I'm just like, and I realize so you can friend me, but you can also follow my page. So he's following me.
Yeah.
But he's tried to friend request me and I deleted it. I mean, and he's coming at me from all angles. I don't get it. Like he would send messages about all these women that he's dealing with and all this stuff. And I'm like,
No, that's so weird.
but then it turns out I think he's married. I don't know. It's so
How
weird.
does he have that much time?
I don't know.
'Cause I don't have enough time to like even post every day.
He's like, you want to meet me in the Lowe's parking lot and drink a beer?
No.
And I was like,
What?
No, I quit doing
In the
that
Lowe's
when I
parking
turned
lot?
17. I was, yes.
So he wanted to meet you in the Lowe's parking lot and drink a beer.
Yes. Drink beer. No, I'm good.
Well, I don't even think that's legal, right? Because you can't.
I didn't think too much into it. I was like, okay.
Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Do you want to snag a natty light at the Lowe's?
I was like, but I'm a grown up. I'm a grown up.
Oh no. Okay, so have you seen that crazy like hot matrix or whatever? I've seen it
Yes.
on like Insta Reels or whatever, and it's a guy
I
standing
had
there.
somebody I was chatting with actually send that to me, which I
Yeah.
thought was interesting.
Did he point out where you were on the crazy hot?
Oh, he neglected to specify where he thought I was, but
But he sent it to you.
I almost kind of felt like I was picking up what he was putting down.
Okay, so it's a guy standing there, and he's like, if you're a 10 on the crazy scale, and you're a 10 on the hot scale, and it's like supposed to come together. And so it's like the crazier you are and the hotter you are, you get like a score. What was it that was a unicorn?
I thought the unicorn was like a crazy is 2, so like you're not crazy, but hot.
But
is
you're hot,
10.
you're like a 10.
Because it like, right, Scott? Are we?
Right. So
So if you're not crazy, so if you're like a 0 crazy, but you're a 10 hot,
So that's a unicorn.
so that's a unicorn.
right.
Okay.
So where do most people fall in your
Yeah,
opinion?
like where do you feel like,
Like he's like,
where do you, so, okay, no, wait. Where do you feel like you fall
That I
on the
fall?
crazy? Yeah, so 1 to 10, 1 is not hot, 10 is super hot, like the hottest of hot. And then 1 is not crazy, and then 10 is super crazy. So where do you feel like
listen, I don't know about hot, but as far as crazy, I feel like
Everybody's got some crazy.
right in the middle. I feel like I'm a good 5 but I feel like I can check it down to a 2. Like you won't
Okay.
know I'm a 5 because a lot of that shit's going to be happening on the inside
Mm-hmm.
or when we're not chatting. But I mean, I don't think I'm ridiculously crazy, but I think that I'm a little,
Okay.
I would say 5. I'm a good medium
You're a
person,
good medium. Okay.
but I check it to a 2.
Okay.
So he's only ever going to experience 2. Unless he
Maybe.
thinks like my quirks are crazy. Or unless I get really upset.
Scott, what
Okay.
do you think about the crazy hot scale?
I think it's true. I don't think you can rate yourself on it.
I know, it's hard.
And yeah,
I mean, I would say I'm probably a good 5 or 6 crazy.
7.
You're a 7.
That's not
If
nice.
I'm a 5, you're a 7. You're way crazier than I am. Like, I feel like I'm coming here to, like, manage you sometimes.
I mean, it is what it is. I
But
feel like,
that's
I mean,
why we love you.
I know. Like, I feel like I keep things interesting.
Like, your husband is a good balance. Like, it's very yin and yang.
He
with you
tolerates
two.
me. He tolerates me very well. Yes.
He balances you out. But just sometimes you need to actually listen to him.
I don't know about that.
Hence the 7 on the scale.
Okay, so if you're a 10 crazy and you're like a 1 to 2 or like a 1. No, wait. If you're a 10 hot and you're like a 1 to 2, have you
Crazy.
ever had one of those? A unicorn is what it's called.
I would say not, because if you had, you should be married right now.
Yeah, but that goes both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And I actually do feel like this works the same way for men than it
Of
does
course
for
it
women.
does.
Because there's some really hot men that are really insane. I remember there was one guy. You guys
I
remember?
find though that men though are insane even when they're not hot.
Well, you guys remember LaBerge? Not LaBerge. I'm sorry, LaBears. It was like the male strip,
Oh my
like
God.
back when what was it?
Did people go to that?
Westheimer
Did
in
people
downtown.
go
Houston.
to that?
Yes, I went to it several times, but
Why do you
way
wanna
back
see-
in the day.
But who wants to see naked men? I just
Well, they
don't.
do like little skits. It's
But
cute.
I have
Like they
never
did like the
understood
you know.
wanting to see naked men. Go ahead.
You don't want to see naked men?
I really don't. You
I
know-
would love to see
you know
naked,
who
well,
I
as long
want-
as they're hot.
You know who I want to see naked? My man. That's it. Other than that,
Okay, so
what are
it's
you
one of those
attracted
things
to?
though that women go to, like it's a bachelorette party or whatever, and they do like these little skits. Like
I know.
what they like came out and they did this like little dance to like "Devil Went Down to Georgia" or whatever. It's like the Magic Mike, but it was like the old school Magic Mike.
Sounds terrible. Go ahead.
Anyways, so I went there for a bachelorette party, and there was a guy there, one of the dancers, and we ended up going to Wild West after. I don't like.
Oh my God.
If you were back in the day in Houston, like you knew that Wild West was like the place to be, and so we ended up going to Wild West after, and he was obsessed with me, and he was,
I was obsessed with that.
oh my God, he was
Oh
hot.
my God.
He was hot, but dumb as a rock.
I was gonna have his babies. and
No,
then he
I
couldn't
had
talk
no
to me
desire
about
because like
anything,
he
so.
could not hold a conversation with me. Very nice guy, gorgeous.
Okay,
But- and
so
so
that's
I'm like,
why I
okay.
say. So okay, so this is we're gonna go off into a different thing, but that's why like. Again, talking about the dating profiles and like the statistics and the standards and all this and that. When you get so wrapped up in physical characteristics, but what if they can't hold a conversation? What if they don't have a sense of humor? There are only so many hours in the day you can
Yeah.
spend doing things.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, what are we going to talk about? Can you tell a joke that's not a dad joke? Like, are you funny? And so, like, you can be totally hot, but if you're
Yeah.
like, I can't even
was-
talk to you, then.
He was very hot, and I'm sure he had a lot of crazy going on. So
And so he was crazy, like obsessed with you. Like, did he stalk you?
no, he didn't stalk me. He was just very interested, and he made it very clear. You know, texting, calling. You know, let's go out, like whatever. I mean, a very nice guy. Like he wasn't, you know, inappropriate or rude or anything. He very
want you
nice
to have
guy.
my
But
babies.
and I mean, he was. I had to check myself there for a second. I'm like, wait a second, girl. Like, can we like dip our toe in there, maybe just a little bit? But no, I couldn't. He just.
For what? To not even be able to talk about anything?
Well,
That's
and
so
like I was like, we
unattractive.
can't like go out or do anything together because
If you can't even talk to somebody and have a good time chatting and
Yeah,
laugh, and then if you're like embarrassed to introduce them to people because they're dumb
I would
and your friends are going to think
absolutely,
they're
I
dumb,
would absolutely be.
you are not hot enough to overcome that. I would rather have somebody average looking
Well, and I was
who
struggling
checks
with
all
that.
of these other boxes than somebody hot
I was
who can't
struggling
do
with that
basic
because like,
things.
can I
No.
overcome this you know part of him that's you know just not very smart and you know whatever because he's hot? I don't know. I tried.
In my opinion,
tried.
attraction grows when these other things exist.
I agree.
So somebody who, on the surface, again, the problem with profiles and pictures and, you know, you meet someone, they're average looking. Are they hot? No. Are they ugly? No. But they check all these things, then they're so attracted to you.
Yeah, your attraction grows. Yes,
and
absolutely.
You want nothing but then to be with this person because all
Yeah.
these other things exist because that's really what you have.
And I see and there's some girlfriends of mine that like their husbands, I'm like, dude, you outkicked your coverage here. I'm like,
The
so they
husband
either
outkicked his coverage,
Yeah,
or-
the husband outkicked his coverage. Absolutely. Like she's hot and he is just, you know, whatever. And I'm like, okay, well then you must have a really great personality or a giant penis. Or
But-
a lot of money.
But even if you have a giant penis, like again, the interaction with that is only.
Well, unless you're doing it all the time. I don't know. I think it depends.
I think that there has to be something physical that draws you in. Absolutely. There
Yeah.
has to be something you're attracted to. You know, they have beautiful eyes. You think they have a nice face. You love the way their body looks or whatever. But beyond that, there has to be so much more. Like you have to be able to hold a conversation. You have to vibe. You have to click. Personally, for me,
for a sustainable relationship, yes.
Personally, for me, humor is very important. I want somebody who can laugh and who has a good sense of humor, who appreciates sarcastic and dry humor, who, you know, so that's something like for me that is way more important than like,
I don't know.
penis size.
Penis size is really important to me. And I feel like
So is that
a
a
lot of
deal
people.
breaker?
if it's tiny, yes. Yes.
That's fair. You're allowed to want what you want.
Yes.
So, okay.
Because I feel like with a lot of, you know, like, I guess when you're in a new relationship, and again, I haven't been in one in a long time, but like the first few times are awkward and weird and you're trying to like figure each other out and like, what does, you know, this person like and not
I
like,
mean,
or
maybe, but at the same time, like you're
But-
not
but I-
16,
what I-
you've done it before.
right. But
so.
the point I'm trying to get across is like, it gets better the longer that you have been with somebody.
But that's because of connection.
Right. But I
Which
kind
is
of
not
feel, but what I'm
physical.
saying is, if it's small, or it's. I dated a guy that was curved. I named him Captain Hook. Actually, he was curved, and it just didn't hit what it was supposed to hit.
Oh.
And there was nothing. He actually wasn't small. He just wasn't going to hit what it was supposed to hit. So there's not a lot you can do with that.
I mean, yeah, that's important. There has to be.
Yeah.
Captain.
Like, what am I gonna like? You know, like try and
We
you know,
don't-
like
we don't.
cock to the side or something. I don't know, but
Listen.
I mean, it just wasn't going to. It's a super nice guy,
And
but
so, how long did you date him?
not very long.
But that's fair. But that's your
Yeah.
preference, and that's fair.
Yeah,
You can have your preference.
and I don't know. He's. I actually still talk to him, and he's in a committed long-term relationship now, and so maybe for her it hits like where it's supposed to hit.
She
Maybe
might be shaped differently.
Yeah,
I mean, there's.
her G spot's like on the side instead of on the top. I don't know, but
Oh my God.
But hey, that's what I'm saying. All right, hey guys, thanks for tuning in today. Again, I'm Victoria, this is Heather, and we are...
Rose and Real Talk. If you like what you heard, click and subscribe, hit the like button, and share it with one of your besties that you think would like it too.
Yeah.